Hello, this is Chris Brooks from Rivsticks Game Studio, and we now have conveyor belts. Conveyor belts will move the monsters around the board as in the direction that they're facing, either one or two spaces depending. And so if you look here, we've got a rather simple set of conveyor belts. They have a few properties. They have an on property that turns them on and off, and a fast or a slow. If they're on slow, they'll only move the monster one space when it steps on it. If they're fast, it moves them two. And then they have a facing direction, so which way they're facing. They move monsters versus pushing monsters. To move a monster, you're not really interacting with other monsters. So when I step on it, it will move me two spaces, but not necessarily any monsters that are in front of me. They'll stay in their spot. Unlike a push that happens when a monster moves forward onto another monster or whatever, that pushes that other monster. With the conveyor belts, they move the monsters. There was two ways we could have done this. We could have done this at the end of the round, but I noticed that all that would do is move you one or two spaces at the very end, and so it seemed more dynamic to actually have it when they stepped on the space, even though that means sometimes it looks like they leapfrog over each other. But that was, I think, the better way of going about it. If you think differently, leave it in the comments below. So anyway, let's go ahead with our normal usual suspects and see how they navigate this particular map. Here they are. Now I assume, let's see, my guess is that Larry's going to win, mainly because he doesn't move around much, but I could be wrong. So what would be your guesses? So let's see, they're going off here. As you can see, they're taking their action and then they're being whipped around. And and Louis just confused everybody, so who knows what they're going to do. Ralph just backed up into everybody. That's good. So that was the difference between a move. As you see, the move, they overlap each other, and the pushes, they don't. So here we go. They're lining up. We're still at 7. Could be Franny too, because it's a small map, and Franny wins on maps. Franny will tend to win on maps where there's pushing involved because she has so many lives. But with Larry being able to sit there and damage, who knows? I'd say it's between Larry and Franny. But Larry's only got one health left, so one life left, so maybe. And there's the end of Larry. Okay, I was wrong. Okay, so we're down to 6 now. Five. 4. Oh, look at that. Nice. 3 now. And looks like it is going to be Franny, I would guess. Let's see how this plays out here. Oh, there we go. She's got plenty left, though. So she just has to get a nice set like that. There she goes. All right, so that was Franny. Good job. Let's look at switches. All right, so let's hit this. Let's make this a switch. Now, as you can see, the switches are all set up to turn these guys on and off. We may end up actually increasing the switches potential on some of these so that they can interact not only with switching it on and off, but maybe in speeding up and slowing it down. So a switch will be able to interact with, you'll have to define which one of the actions they take, but right now they only affect on and off. So let's go ahead and let's not do all of the monsters. Let's only do 2 human monsters. So let's do player 1 and player 2. We'll make it the angler and we'll make it the dino. Okay. All right, let's run it. And so we've got player 1 and player 2 with dino's actions here. Let's move dino back and let's go ahead and just interact twice and then move him forward 3 times. Okay. Let's let the angler go forward and just let her rest out. So as you can see, when he stopped, all of the conveyor belts quit as well. So that's how the switches interact with them. Okay, so that's really all I wanted to show you on that, was that they can be interacted with. And these are slow moving conveyor belts. So let's go with the third here. Stop that. Let's go to map settings. Let's just do conveyor race. Now a race type is another mode. If you look here, we've got the race mode. PvP is the normal mode. You're fighting each other until there was one left. The race condition goes through checkpoints, and there are various checkpoints that you reach. When you reach all of the checkpoints to the last checkpoint, then the first one to reach that wins. Every time you would die, or races can be told that you're immortal, you don't die, you just always end up at the last checkpoint until somebody gets to the end. Or there are the races where you can still win by PvP. So anyway, this is kind of what a race map would look like. You have a series of tracks that you would go through, following certain setups. You'd have certain checkpoints you have to reach. In this case, I don't have the checkpoints yet. They're not created yet, but they would be like a flag right here, and that the first person that got to it would win. So anyway, as you can see, this windy path is a double movement string of conveyors, and the goal is to get through here and then teleport here and then flip the flag. So the first checkpoint. Your characters, the players themselves, would have a little checkpoint at the bottom of their list, which I'll show you now. So you see how they don't have that now, but for a player map, for a race map, you would have another line here that shows the checkpoints you visited and how many more you have left to go. So as you can see here, we're going to go with Dino. Let's go with, let's move him forward. Let's move him forward. Let's move him forward again, I think. Let's Dino leap him and move him forward 2 more times. Let's do the same thing with the angler. Forward, 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 leap, forward, forward. Now, as you see, they're moving, so they don't necessarily push each other. If the conveyor belt moves them, then they're not going to push. So he leaped over that section, and so did he. Alright, so let's mix it up a little bit. Let's go with the dino. We're going to go forward. We're going to rest. I think that would, let's see, if he goes forward, it's going to put him right here. If he rests, it's going to put him right here. If he rests, it's going to put him right here. Now, my goal essentially is to get right here and leap. So let's see. So he's right here. Let's move him forward again, which puts him right here. I think we want to back up, which will put him, I think, right here, and then forward again. Meanwhile, let's go with the angler and let's move her forward. Rest, rest, forward, back, forward. And let's see if we can get them to the teleporter. Now, meanwhile, this whole thing would be happening with other ones pushing you, moving you, attacking you, and whatever else. So it wouldn't be as easy and straightforward as me doing this myself. Okay, so they both made it, surprisingly. So let him dino leap and let him turn to the right. It's fine. So he actually succeeded. He'll end up here. And you can leap and turn left. There we go. So that's kind of the very early stages of a race game, a race map. And so we're continuing from here. And that's about all I have to show this week. So thank you very much.